Do y'all remember when this box of pancake mix used to have a racist caricature on it? Or did you even know that?
Aunt Jemima?
Did you know the name Aunt Jemima means slave mammy of the plantation south?
We recognize Aunt Jemima's origins are based on a racial stereotype.
If it wasn't for Tony, oh.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for tuning back again. I'm back with another video, and this is going to be another video in a series I really want to start on my channel, which is a lot of brand controversies, huge controversies of many products and brands that may be in a supermarket near you. A few weeks ago, I did a brand controversy video about the green M&M, so check that video out. Now, we're going to be talking about the Pearl Milling Company, formerly known as Aunt Jemima. And I'm pretty sure most of us growing up that like pancake mix, that like the syrup to go along with it, you heard about Aunt Jemima. We should know how the imaging and branding used to look with the black woman on it. But historically, that promotion, that image, the name Aunt Jemima tracks back to racism and the racist archetype and caricature of the Mammy. So to make a long story short, back in 2020, when the pandemic hit, a lot of people were at home, a lot of people were overanalyzing and thinking about stuff. And this was also in the midst of the uproar of Black Lives Matter, treating black people fairly, equally, and all the injustice that black people were facing. And then y'all know the big stories that were all over the news. Along with that, a lot of people went back in time and was looking at different brands that had racist archetype imagery in it. Aunt Jemima was one of them. But before we really get into the name change and the different reactions to that, let's get into what a Mammy was. Why this was such a racist caricature archetype, why it was so offensive for people to even talk about this 100 years later, for people to even outrage at this 100 years later.
The Aunt Jemima brand is getting erased.
In historical context, the Mammy was an overweight, really dark-skinned black woman that was subordinate to a white family. She would cook for them, she would clean for them, she would babysit the kids. She was sassy, but she still had that southern hospitality. She always wore big dresses, an apron, some type of headscarf, a handkerchief of some sort. And she genuinely did this with a smile. It was the idea of happy servitude, of a happy slave. Hey master, hey missus. Her greatest joy was serving this white family, even at the detriment of her own family, her own kids, her own husband. Her importance, her value was in pleasing and serving a white family that was really well off to do anyway. It always made her sound not that intelligent with the slave dialect and the way she said things and the pronunciation of certain words, and always simple-minded. She sure knew how to throw down in the kitchen. She knew how to cook. She knew how to look after the white chillin', Now, when it comes to founding the Pearl Milling Company, which was what it was originally called, one of the founders came across a vaudeville poster, back in like the 1890s, came across one of those posters of a vaudeville show, basically one of those entertainment shows where people would dress up in blackface as a Mammy, portray a Mammy, the overweight, dark-skinned black woman that knew how to cook. It was, shucking and jiving for the audience. The Mammy was a big character back then. He came across this poster, and one of the songs performed in one of these shows had the words Aunt Jemima in it. Like Aunt Jemima was a character. So what he did was combine the name Aunt Jemima with the Mammy image to market his new business, his new pancake mix, basically appropriating the Aunt Jemima image and name to promote and market his product. Now remember, the Mammy image was of this dark-skinned, overweight black woman, but the main thing with her that people associated with her is her being trustworthy in the kitchen. You know about nothing else. She didn't have as many rights as the white people she was working for, cooking for, but they knew she knew how to throw down in the kitchen. They knew that when she whipped up the meal, it was going to taste good. So a lot of people associated the Mammy with good food, good cooking. So he thought, okay, why not associate the Mammy with my pancake mix? Because a lot of people are going to be like, oh, if this has like a Mammy type image promoting this, people are going to want it because they know Mammy's overweight black woman, they know how to cook.
Her face on the box was probably the one way that households were integrated.
The marketing ploy, the marketing tool was basically the romanticism of Mammy's cooking, or the idea of a Mammy cooking for you, the idea of having a Mammy's pancake recipe in a box.
Just pour out Aunt Jemima buckwheat mix from the yellow box.
For years, this company would use the image and caricature of the Mammy with the name Aunt Jemima to promote the pancake mix. And in many of these ads, they had her serving a white family, making them happy, or talking in the slave dialect, so one could really believe like, oh, this is like a real Mammy recipe. They even once had an ad that said, no other pancakes can have Aunt Jemima's old-time plantation flavor. You see how they tried to glorify the days of slavery to delicious cooking that anybody could buy?
Hold up, wait. Oh my God, hold up.
You think about it, it was such a twisted way of promoting their products. And you think about it in today's terms, it's like, wow, that's so offensive, that's so racist. But it worked. The company was a success. Oh, but that's not the only thing. Also in the early 1900s, along with some of this Aunt Jemima pancake mix, they started to advertise the Aunt Jemima and family rag dolls, which were pitch black and made her kids look like pickaninnies. Another offensive, racist archetype and caricature of a black family. But oh, it's Aunt Jemima's family. You get to have these little black rag dolls if you buy this certain pancake mix. Back in those days, that was the equivalent of like having a Happy Meal toy with a kid's meal from McDonald's you would see today. I'm gonna show y'all better than I can tell y'all.
Y'all believe this shit? Can y'all believe this shit?
The Mammy name stereotype became more popular and more popular. Think about it, in like the 1930s, you had Gone with the Wind. Hattie McDaniel played the Mammy. She even won an Oscar for it. Then let's talk about how the Mammy character was so popular that they had to incorporate it in Tom and Jerry, a cartoon from the 40s at that time, which was so popular. The cartoon was so popular, the Mammy character was so popular and so entertaining to people that they had to find a way to incorporate that in a Tom and Jerry cartoon about a cat and mouse chasing each other.
Why, how to do, Mr. Tom? Hurry up, honey child. Land safe. Hurry up, honey child.
Oh my God.
For those of y'all that watch me, y'all know I showed that clip many times when it comes to the Mammy stereotype. But even as Jerry had the black face and the handkerchief and the outfit on, you see how exaggerated they made him sound talking to the Mammy child. Come on, honey child, come on. Real exaggerated, real over the top, that slave dialect. To Tom, who was supposed to be like the white man of the household, hey, Mr. Tom. But to the child, her own black children, come on, honey child. It's like, wow. That also played into the idea that they would treat the white family they work for better than their own children. Their own children were, disobedient. They didn't listen. But, when they got to the white family that they had to tend to, is, I'm here to serve. I'm here to cook. What you need me to do today, sir?
Wait a minute, hold on.
But over the years, you can see that they slowly tried to change the branding and the imagery and the logo to not make it look so racist and obvious to the Mammy caricature. Even in the evolution of the Aunt Jemima image and logo and branding, you get to see it started off with her looking like blackface. Then that evolved into other versions of the Mammy caricature. They slowly started to make her lose weight. They began to lighten her skin. They slowly got rid of the headscarf to where she just had curly hair. More emphasis was put on the words Aunt Jemima. Until now, you just see Pearl Milling Company because of the backlash. Now you have today where it's called Pearl Milling Company, and even in the corners it would say formerly Aunt Jemima. The syrup, Pearl Milling Company, new name, same recipe as Aunt Jemima. You see what they did? Nowadays the outrage, the backlash was so much that the company said, you know, we might as well just change it. I mean, we tried. And honestly, growing up, I never made the connection to the Mammy character. I just saw the black lady with the curly hair, and I was just like, okay, Aunt Jemima. I never made the connection to the Mammy caricature, the Mammy image from hundreds of years ago. But then again, you think about it, who would? Unless you really researched it, who would really know that? But once people found out about it, and it's like, damn, y'all still using this name, y'all still using a black lady, well, y'all know that historically the roots trace back to the Mammy? How do y'all feel about that? The fact that, in essence, the Aunt Jemima character and name trace back to the Mammy. And I showed y'all how offensive, how racist that was. Do you think, oh, it was about time, they should have changed it, they should have been changed it? Or do you think, okay, over 100 years later, historically that was the context, but now, you know, Aunt Jemima is just pancake mix, it's just syrup. A lot of people just had that thing of, y'all doing this over syrup? Y'all doing this over pancake mix?
Could somebody please make it make sense?
A lot of people nowadays would say, okay, 100 years ago they used the Mammy character, but now they don't do that anymore. It's just a black lady smiling, you know? Shouldn't y'all take pride in that? Like, oh, y'all have a black woman on the face of one of the biggest brands in America, in the world. But you have those other people that's like, no matter how you try to twist it or pull it or rearrange it, Aunt Jemima still traces back to a Mammy. That's why a lot of them say it's about time y'all took away that racist name and those racist origins. Okay, Pearl Milling Company, that sounds better than Aunt Jemima making these good pancakes for you. Now let's get into another controversy with the Pearl Milling Company, formerly known as Aunt Jemima. Back in the 1890s, Nancy Green was an enslaved black woman who at one point they came in contact with, and they used her as the first spokesperson for Aunt Jemima. You know, they came to her, they recruited her, they made her dress up as Aunt Jemima. They took her around the country marketing Aunt Jemima, doing displays, demonstrations, cooking thousands of pancakes for the people at these fairs, festivals, exhibitions to promote their products to major success. For over 20 years, Nancy Green worked as the first Aunt Jemima mascot, like the first real live Aunt Jemima that people associated, not just a cartoon image, but like, oh, real life Aunt Jemima. She was that real life Aunt Jemima that they had for over 20 years.
The Aunt Jemima recipe, created by Nancy Green.
It's even speculation that not only did they have Nancy Green as the first spokesperson for Aunt Jemima, having her work for over 20 years, dressing up, going all these different places, cosplaying as Aunt Jemima, right? But they also took her recipe, her personal recipe for flapjacks. They would use that to market their own pancake mix for people to make at home. Controversy with this comes where years later, she ended up dying. You know, it was a time where they wanted her to go overseas to Paris to promote, but she didn't want to, so they recruited new people. And over time, she was forgotten about, and she wasn't giving her just due. They didn't really pay her like they should have, and she just became a blip in history. Even to the point where when she died in an unmarked grave. For years, nobody knew where she died, nobody knew how she died, where she died. She was found over 100 years later in an unmarked grave.
Nancy, you're a storyteller, and now your story is being told again.
And when the people that found her came in contact with Quaker Oats, which was the company that owned Pearl Milling Company, the company that owned Aunt Jemima Pancakes, they tried to tell them, oh, we found Nancy Green's unmarked grave. Can y'all help us give her a headstone? Quaker Oats replied back like, Nancy Green is separate from the Aunt Jemima character, which was fictional.
Oh my God.
Basically like, oh, that's cute. You found the lady that was the first Aunt Jemima over 100 years ago? Okay, what they got to do with us? Wow. You know that this lady historically was a big major part of your success, going around the country, going to thousands of events, making over 50,000 pancakes to promote the Aunt Jemima brand for over 20 years. They found her unmarked grave, and y'all kind of just throw her away like, okay, what they got to do with us? That was over 100 years ago. What you want us to do? All the money that the company had, they couldn't even pay for a headstone for her. But ABC News did a really good documentary about this.
Phenomenal.
Sherry getting her first look at the headstone she's fought so hard for.
Her death didn't matter, but when she was alive promoting your products over 100 years ago, that was all right. Now, mind you, the people that was alive 100 years ago is not the people that was alive now, that's in charge of Quaker Oats and Pearl Milling and Aunt Jemima. But historically, knowing the context, it should have been like okay, let's pay for the headstone. That would have been nothing to y'all, all the money they had, but they didn't care to. That was just some of the racist, offensive history with the Aunt Jemima brand, now known as Pearl Milling Company. And I want to know, what do y'all think about that? Do you think that it was a great thing that they changed the name? Historically, knowing what Aunt Jemima used to represent, do you even care? Do you still buy Pearl Milling products? Do you still buy the syrup? Do you still buy the pancake mix? What are your thoughts on this controversy? Do you think people were being too sensitive? People were just nitpicking? People were overreacting? Or do you think it's about time they changed that racist name with their racist origins? And with the Nancy Green situation, how do you feel that Quaker Oats couldn't even pay for her headstone when she was one of the first people to really help promote their products? Let's talk about this down below. This should be a really interesting discussion and video, and I really want to do more because Mrs. Butterworth, Uncle Ben's could be another video. Let me know what other products you want me to do backstories on with these crazy controversies. Please don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Thank you for watching and listening. I'll see y'all in the next video.